Hey, good morning, y'all. Let me see here. We should be all good. Yeah, how's it going? Let's do this build. Golden Zaku competition win. I don't know. What would that entail? I don't know. Like, it's like a golden trophy that people can win. The winner will wield the Slayer axe. I don't know. All right. Good morning, Sin, Revan, George, TFTF. What's going on, guys? Good morning. Let's do this build. So this is Slayer Heat Hawk, right? And David. Oh, hey, what's going on, David? Good morning. Currently driving late to work. All right. This kit is the Bailu. From Roblox Animation. Now, I know I have built another kit from Roblox Animation, anyway, from this brand before, although I don't remember which one. Wide is in class. Well, I would say pay attention to your class. I don't know, maybe it depends on the class, but Chinese mechs or other obscure anime kit. Yeah, this one an original mecha model, as far as I know. TF's building the Farina kit from 30-Minute Sisters. Ah, that's a nice one. Yeah. But let's see. I don't know. Let's see. If I just look on my channel, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what else from this brand I might have built. Something anyway. I recognize the logo, but one of the things that we do have with this is this internal frame, which is die-cast metal and plastic kind of mixed for these parts. So this is going to be parts of the frame here that we're going to use. So like this part here for the arm. For example, the part of the frame for the upper arm and lower arm is plastic, and then the die-cast parts are around the elbow joint. It's fine. I don't know. It's not really something that I particularly care about for a kit like this. Like here for the leg, it's entirely die-cast, these parts. Ultimately, it makes the kit more heavy. These parts, the parts of the joint which are going to show, are going to be harder to paint. Because they're metal, you have to use like a special primer for them and everything. So kind of there's not really any upside to using a metal frame unless like it just kind of makes it more structurally viable. This kit is large, but it's not that big. It's probably going to be like comparable in size to kind of a standard 1/100 scale Gundam kit. And so having the metal frame is just kind of an unnecessary gimmick for me personally. But I mean, it's kind of cool if that's something that you might find value in. Been interested in having a look at this specific kit. Very cool, fans. Yeah, well, hopefully the video is helpful. We're actually going to start on the UAV drone parts of the kit. Build these first, actually, because that's what parts I have like already out and all prepared here. Just for the drones that it's got. Have you tried Opus Artist Dry Brush? No, I have not. Something got into me, and now I'm collecting HG Zaku kits. So could be a lot worse things to be collecting. HG Zaku kits, you got a lot of great options there, in particular with the HG the Origin line, as it is dominated by a lot of different Zaku kits there in that line. You look at the ratio of like Xeon kits to EFF kits, I don't know, it's probably like 3-to-1, 4-to-1 maybe. There's a lot. So yeah, we're just gonna get this kit built up. It is, like I said, larger, not necessarily all that complex, as we have number one, part of the frame is pre-built there, as you saw, the metal parts of the frame. And the other thing, even aside from that, the rest of the kit as well, it's just not that complex of a kit. I built 4 HG Origin Zaku kits now. They come with a lot of parts for mixing and matching. Yes, that's the other great thing about those kits. Very good point. Yes, is that they do. Let's see. Where's the part that I'm looking for here? Oh, over here. There's a couple of parts that are in a different spot because they were too big to fit there. Yeah, those kits, there is a lot of compatibility between them, so really easy to like mix and match parts and kind of make your own customs there. So yeah, those kits are great for that. Absolutely. And the nice thing to do is that just because of like everything kind of surrounding like the developmental history of the Xeon mobile suits kind of in the story in canon, you can kind of do a lot of mixing and matching and still kind of make it make sense, like in canon. Like if you wanted to put, you know, like the legs from one suit and like onto a different body, anyway, that kind of thing, you can do that and you can kind of make it make sense in canon because of how the Xeon suits were being developed kind of at that time. You have a lot of that already existing there. So yeah, those are great. Zaku 4 ever produced? I think there is a Zaku 4, although I'm not sure entirely if it's canon. Somebody can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that there is a Zaku 4, and it's like in the Advances Xeon reboot, I think in the AOZ reboot, there's a Zaku 4, I think. But yeah, I could be wrong about that. That's just kind of as I recall, but not 100% sure. All right. So as you can see here, we're building, let's see, 4 of these. Yeah, I just want to make sure, right? For this part, is there 4 drones? I wasn't remembering if there was 2 or 4. Obviously, we're building 4 of these, so there's clearly 4. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. And so even though I was just saying a moment ago that this kit is not going to be all that complex, I think it does do a lot here with these parts in just terms of the color separation, details, and everything. So far, that's my impression. But that also has been true for a lot of similar kits like this. I mean, if you guys have had any experience with the more recent third-party or original mecha model kits like this, I mean, obviously, one thing that they're pretty well known for, number one, the size of them just being kind of, most of them fitting that 1:100 scale sort of size slot, and other thing just being that they're pretty nice and like complex, highly detailed designs. Sometimes to a fault, in my opinion, but at least in this one, I think this one's a really nice looking design. It looks like something out of Gundam's Seed, like a sort of alternate universe version of the Strike, sort of. All right, let's see. So we're gonna have 4 of these wing bits. I just gotta get these organized. They're of course slightly different here for the left and the right side. Although, let's see, maybe not really that much, so it's okay. Anyway, just the order we put these together in. Let's see, Moon Gundam reprint. Yeah, it's a popular one. What's your country, Japan or Korea? Well, America now. But I've lived in both before. Japan, I lived for a year. Korea for 10 years. Are you going to review the Figure Rise Ultraman Tiga, the new one? No, wasn't planning on it. Let's see. But I did see that there is a new one coming out, yeah. Okay, so these parts here for the wings, there's separate in the instructions, separate assembly instructions for the left side and the right side, but there's no difference in the parts. It's just putting them on one side or the other. So that part's not really wanting to stay tight in there. Let's see. So here. We're gonna be like that? No, I guess not. Okay. What up, mercenary? What's up? If I remember correctly, aren't they like a Gundam base or something like that in Thailand? Thailand have supply issues too. What's it George talking about? How's the Cloning Wolf coming along? I haven't started that. Just have it still on the table there. You were just here on Saturday, David. There's not been that much time passed between then and now. So basically, yeah, no, I've not done anything else with that yet. Sunday, obviously, I was not working. And then yesterday, I was working on getting this kit ready most of the time, most of the day. That's kind of where the time has gone since you last saw that Koenig Wolf. So no, haven't really made much progress on that yet. And I don't know if I will today either. Let's see. I'm on the waiting game for all other MGs I seek that might need to be released, especially the Astria with the broadswords. Yeah, that new Bandai Astria does look pretty cool. I am kind of tempted. It is a really cool design. I do really like that version. It's kind of my favorite like variation of the Exia. I do like that, yeah. Although in canon, I'm not sure. Like, is it actually a variation of the Exia, or is it something different? Not actually sure, but it's kind of model kit wise and design wise, in my mind, it's a variation of the Exia. I don't know if that's actually accurate way to describe it, though. Obviously a lot of wing parts here for these. So we have 4 parts per wing, 8 per unit, and we have 4 units. So yes, a lot of repetition here for this part of the build. That should make it pretty cool. I did notice if you are going to be building this kit, there is a couple of parts. Not in this part of the build, but when building the weapon, it was a little bit unclear, and we'll get to that part of the build here in a minute, and we'll see if it kind of... Sometimes when I'm just like cutting out all the parts, something seems sort of unclear just because I'm not like really studying the manual very closely. I'm just looking at like what parts I need to cut out. Then when I actually go to do the build, it kind of makes sense. And so that might be the case with the weapons here, but there's just like a couple of parts building the weapons where when I was cutting out the pieces, it seemed like there should be like a ×2 there because there was two times the amount of the parts that we needed for that. But for some reason, it doesn't say ×2 in the manual, so I don't know if it's just supposed to be extra parts because the manual also doesn't say where there should be extra parts. So I don't know. I'm not sure. That should be like this. So again, too, I think with this part here, just like with the wings, it doesn't really matter if you do it one way or the other. It's just the only difference is that the part faces a different direction. That's just for the UAV mounting. Yeah, we have 4 of these, but you only mount, well, you can, I guess, yeah, mount all 4 to the back. Okay. So these parts are going to be here. Okay, for these mounting pieces that we're putting together now are for mounting them onto the back skirt. Because at this point in the manual, although we haven't done it yet, we skipped over that part in the manual. At this point in the manual, there was we already had built the backpack, which has the mounting points for the other ones. So here's the 2 that are going to be mounted onto the back skirt, and these are the ones going to backpack. So we'll have to kind of come back, swing back around to that. Actually, might as well just bring put together the backpack now. Then I suppose it makes just as much sense. Exia is Gen 3 Gundam in the 00 lineup. Let's see. Astria came before Exia. That's right. Yeah, I can kind of vaguely remember that now. Yes. And I want the MG Eyes 1.5 Gundam. A lot of great mobile suit designs that I would love master grade of. There's a lot of great mobile suit designs that I would love an RE100 kit of, because the difference between the 2 lines now, if you just like take a look at kind of, it's been a while since we've had an RE100 kit, but like the last couple RE100 kits, and then like the extension of that line with the last few full mechanics kits in particular. I mean, the distinction between the full mechanics line and the master grade line is getting narrower. So there's plenty of mobile suit designs that I think, just unfortunately are just not ever going to be like popular enough that Bandai would invest to make them as a full MD. But if we could get a 100 scale version as an RE100, I'd be all for that. It'd be awesome. So we'd love to see it. And yeah, there's loads that I would like to see. So yeah, moving on with the build here now, we're going to build the backpack. So we're kind of going in sort of reverse order, but I think after this, we'll kind of switch it up and kind of go back to the main build, kind of to the instructions. We'll go back to the beginning here after this section. So we want an MG Sadal Sud. The name sounds familiar, but I can't think of what that is. That's something from 00, isn't it? MG Vidar honestly looks so similar to the full mechanics, at least from the photos I've seen. Yeah, actually, David, that was my first thought as well. But then when I looked at it more closely, I realized it definitely does look a lot different. So I would say, when you look at it in some closer detail, I think you'll notice that there is actually, it does look quite a bit different. But yeah, I thought the same thing at first too. So of course I was of the same mind, like, I'm excited about it. I'm sure it's going to be nice, but always when it has another version, when something comes out and it has another version of that same kit in the same scale, you're going to be kind of like comparing them. Like I said, thought similarly, but no, it does look quite a bit different if you look at it in detail. Bandai didn't reprint MG Goku Super Saiyan. I don't know when that kit's been reprinted. I mean, I'm sure it has. It's the kind of kit that I'm just not at all into, and if and when it's reprinted, it's probably not in a huge batch either, so it would probably fly under my radar if it got reprinted. But yeah, as far as I can remember, I don't think I've seen it reprinted for quite a while. And I can understand why. It's probably not something that sells super well, I guess. I like IBO designs. A lot of them look cool and unique. Yeah, they do, definitely. So as you might be able to tell here, so far, a lot of the parts here for the backpack are kind of like the main part of the backpack. It's going to be like this kind of big engine parts here, basically. That's kind of what we're building here right now. First, we build the actual kind of wing parts. But so in that case, and this is another reason why I said that this build, this kit, in a lot of ways reminds me, design-wise, of the Strike Gundam. Partly just because the backpack's kind of very similar to like the L Strike. Right? Is that not supposed to go in there all the way? It's supposed to just be like that, right? Not actually all the way in there, because it's like starting to crack the plastic. Let's try the other one here first. Let's see. It's in there like that. And yep, okay, it's not actually supposed to be pushed in there any further than that, so I was getting a little too aggressive with that one, I think. Wait, oh, okay, sweet. Turned around the par. Looking at this thinking, wait, how's that supposed to go on there? Missed the memo that we were supposed to turn it around the other way. Wait, what? That's odd. Let's see if we can do this. No, I think it should be the other way around. All right. Just guessing, but if I am Bandai, I will look at the sales rates and pick the popular ones to make MG. Yeah, of course. Bandai is gonna consider, like, when it comes to making a new MG or when it comes to reprinting an MG, they're just gonna look at, what's gonna sell well. But there has been a little bit of an issue that Adam and I have talked about on recent episodes on our live stream there on the USA Gundam TV channel, that last year in particular, it seemed like Bandai was continuously reprinting the same MG. Like there was a couple of MGs that we got like a couple of reprints last year, and so it did seem to kind of flood the market quite a bit there with just a couple of kits. So like us and probably USA Gundam Store and probably every other retailer as well. Well, he just has a ton of, there's a couple of MG kits that everybody's just gonna have loads of. And so, like for a really popular one that's selling really well, it's gonna make sense, but you have to imagine that, at some point, everybody and their brother's got one, and you can't, people aren't gonna be buying multiples of the same kit, so. There is going to be a limit, and so I don't know. Maybe that's what Bandai's goal was, to kind of test what the limit is for here. If they keep sending a particular kit, how long it takes before the retailers here are saying, "Stop sending this kit. We can't sell it anymore." I don't know. Let's see. I'm about to get into a meeting, so I'll tune back in later. Have a good day, everyone. All right. Thanks, David. Have a good day. Enjoy your meeting. Let's see. It's gonna go like this, right? Yeah, okay. That. What new Gundam show? Oh, if people are talking about a new Gundam show, it's probably a Requiem for Vengeance. I think I was confused the other day, and kept saying Requiem of Vengeance, as I thought I saw that somewhere, and yeah, for some reason kept saying that. Nobody corrected me, or maybe someone did and I didn't see it, but yeah, Requiem for Vengeance, which does make a lot more sense. I don't know why I thought it was Requiem of Vengeance. I don't know. Anyway, I keep meaning to watch it. Like every night, I'll, like when it's like winding down, getting close to time to like get into bed, I think, all right, I'm gonna like maybe try to watch an episode or two in bed before I go to sleep, and then get in bed. And that's also the problem is that's also the time of day that I have like for playing Genshin. And so ultimately, what ends up happening is I just end up playing Genshin for a while, and then I'm just too tired, and then I'm like, well, I'm not gonna watch an episode today, so maybe next time. All right. Got a clear part here inside the thrusters in the backpack, which is pretty cool. It's like a clear part inside a molded gold part. Interesting. And I will also say the molded gold on this is really nice. It's like I don't want to say it's rose gold, but there is like a really slight kind of like coloration to it, like iridescence to the gold, which looks pretty nice. That part goes over the top of that. There you go. That's the main center section there. And then we just got the wings here left. I was about to say too much Genshin. Yeah, but fortunately, I finally finished the Archon quest, which took forever. And now that I'm freed from that, hopefully, now I can kind of just be back in the time where I can just, I don't really have too much else to do, like quest wise in the game, and so I can just kind of log on and do daily stuff and then not spend too much time. But I am still trying to pull Shinolin, right? And so I'm trying to kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel for any last primo gems I can find in any way to try to pull her. And so far, still no luck, but still trying. Still time, so hopefully, wish me luck on that. Another clear part here that fits on the bottom of here, right? Seems that way, but not fitting in. You need to touch your abyss and imagine. Yeah, so I did the abyss for this cycle, but I've not done the Imaginarium theater yet. So yeah, I need to do that. I'll get a few more pulls out of the primo gems from that, and that's kind of the last kind of main thing that I can really get as far as any other free primo gems. And then after doing that, and then by the time we get to the end of this banner cycle, I should be like right around there at Pity, and I'm guaranteed to pull her now, so should be able to get her without having to spend any money. If it gets to like the end of the banner and I'm like right there at Pity, I might drop like $10 or something, just for like a few extra gems just to try to pull her, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. There's only been like a couple of instances where I've ever actually spent money to pull a character. Very rarely. Did you get a McDonald's meal? I got the meal and I didn't get the free stuff. So yeah, I was very mad about that. And to be fair, it's kind of like my fault. I should have I should have tried to call the customer service more. But like I tried calling once, like right after, and then like the answering service there that I got, because I guess I called, I think at the time it was like an evening time when it wasn't open, like the customer service line wasn't open. But like it said, there was like a message on the answering service saying like, if you're calling about the Genshin Impact something, whatever, that we apologize for the delay. It's just like taking longer than expected. I was like, oh, okay, so I waited, and then I just kind of like didn't care to try calling again, but I should have, because yeah, I didn't ever end up getting that. Did you get the email? No, see, I didn't get the email, but I did get other emails from them. So like I know the email like service was working, because I did get like email confirmation like for the order, and I got like other like email stuff, and I actually need to unsubscribe from the email because I still get emails for this stuff. And like I never go to McDonald's. I don't like McDonald's. It's the only reason that I went was because of that. And so yeah, I was very annoyed. It is a bummer. Yeah. Big oof. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, the stuff, like the prize stuff from that, I mean it wasn't like great. It wasn't anything that crazy, but still I wanted to get it, and so like that was the only impetus for me to even go to McDonald's, because like I said, I don't like it. I never go there. I got the meal, and I think I told this story, as maybe you heard me tell this story before, that also when I got the meal, they even messed up the order. So like even the order was messed up, and of course the food was bad. I mean, that just goes without saying. The food was bad, the order was messed up, and I didn't even get the prize. So it was just an all-around bad experience, and therefore I will continue to not go to McDonald's. Just awful. Here is our backpack anyway. I called them because they didn't give me my code at first too, and they told me at least you got your food. What? Really? You called like the like national like customer service support line and they said that, or you called like a local store? Like I could see like someone at a local store saying something like that. But it's kind of hard to imagine like the actual like national customer service line or whatever would actually say something like to you like that. That's pretty bad. I wish Tim Hortons dominated fast food in the world. I don't know if I've ever actually have tried that. We in my family, if we're in the mood for fast food, usually we go for Culver's. It's pretty good. McDonald's customer service. That's crazy. Tim Hortons really is a coffee brand from Canada, is it? Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't really know anything about it. So, all right. So now we're back onto like the main construction. Actually, it starts off with the head. I'm going to skip over the head for the moment. We're going to build the torso here first. But that backpack was pretty cool, I gotta say. Show that to you again here in a bit. And let's see. For the torso, we are gonna need a couple of parts here of the pre-built frame. Here. The pilot figure, which for some reason is in the packaging here with the frame parts. Torso section of the frame. The pilot figure, I'm gonna put this guy into here first, into our little cockpit. There's some cool parts of the cockpit, and also I think this is like a non-scale, and it doesn't give us any particular scale, but it does seem to be right about at 1/100th scale, if not slightly larger. Very slightly, if it is. But then you also have this part here, which is pretty cool. Here for the copy of that like clear display part inside there. So I don't know how visible this is going to be once we actually get everything all put together, if the cockpit hatch actually opens up. I believe it will. But we'll see here. So before we put together anything with these metal frame parts like this, a good thing to do is just kind of bend and move everything first ahead of time, just so that you know everything's kind of not loose, but you know, loosened up in case you have a part that's like really particularly tight. Now, actually, I will say this does actually feel almost slightly too loose than I would like it. I mean, typically, kind of one of the reasons why you want to have a metal frame in kits like this is that it makes it nice and tight, but it does feel a little looser than you might want, actually. But we'll see here. All right. That's on there. This here. All right. A pilot figures in there. Whoops. It's Canadian fast food chain known better for its coffee. Well, I would love if there was like a good place to get coffee too. Well, so looking at this, how this is going to be connected inside the torso here does seem like if the cockpit hatch opens, it's like from the top. And so we will be able to see like down into the cockpit to be able to see that clear display piece there. This one's here. Like what? Where? Okay, like that. Figure out how this clear orange part fits onto here. It's supposed to fit onto this part first, but it's not very tight, so I'm gonna have to kind of like balancing act this part to get it on here. There we go. All right. I notice your shirts, they're cool. I'll get the Mr. Color one. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. Definitely check those out. Is the inner parts metallic? So the metal parts are. The rest are like the plastic parts are not. I mean, it's kind of like a dark gray, maybe like very slightly kind of like dark gunmetal, sort of shiny, but not really. No. But yeah, the die-cast parts of the frame, those are obviously shiny die-cast metal. So let's see, for this one we got this part on here first, not that one. This one on here, 1, 2. It's gonna be here, kind of like a piston detail. This part of the construction actually reminds me a little bit of like the Kyokai Senki kits. If you guys have built those, where you like how you assemble the parts on the side of the torso that will move when you move the arms. That came on. Let's see, make sure that's popped in there. Nope. Not gonna go on there any more than that. Maybe not. That's it. Seems like it should though. Let's see. Maybe? No, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, when you move the arm joint, the arm joint backwards, it'll kind of like slide out there like that. And I think it's not really working so well right now, but I think it will work better once we have the rest of the parts connected onto here. It's just kind of not everything's actually locked into place entirely yet until we get it all in place here. Let's see. that pops into there like pretty heartily. That's why I'm thinking that this other one should as well, but it doesn't seem to. Yeah, so maybe not. I don't want to force it and end up breaking anything, so we shall see. Seems all right for now. Our neck joint here. Do you plan on painting that kit in the future? Definitely not right away. I mean, maybe sometime in the future, possibly. Yeah. It's a cool design, so it'll basically go into the possibly maybe would like to paint at someday. Who knows if I ever will get around to it. Pile eventually. Tough clip there. So this is our cockpit hatch here, right? And not like a real, maybe it's all right. A clear part there for the top of the torso. Let's see. That. The chest piston is similar to the Kyokai Senki, but it doesn't move with the arm shoulder. Has more options. Yeah. So here's our cockpit hatch. Let me just show this to you guys here. Has that clear part on top of the silver part there, and you can lift that up. And there's our pilot down inside there. That's pretty much it. Pretty rudimentary there. All right, then for the back side. Not that one. This is this one here. Like that. And this one here, it's another let's see, kind of piston moving section here for the side of the torso as well. All right. Interesting. Is the new Zaku good in green? It'll be a good salamander type Zaku. You're talking about the one from the Netflix series? That at the recent hobby show, Bandai had a number of different Bandai variations, green ones that they had there that they're going to be coming out with. Yeah, he means the Zaku Solari custom from Netflix. Yeah. I don't know. The Zaku designs, I mean, I like a little bit more than the Gundam designs, but still not super into them. Still, like, the main thing, I love the idea of them being kind of more sort of realistic. Let's see. In terms of like the details and just kind of a lot of the design elements. But yeah, still, like, what gets it for me is just the proportions are just so ugly. Which I don't know, I guess, yeah, maybe thinking about it realistically, maybe it makes more sense for them to have uglier proportions, because think about it, like if they're actually making a gigantic walking tank, essentially, the developers are probably not necessarily considering too much, stylistically how it's going to look. It's all about the functionality of it. So, I mean, maybe that kind of makes more sense for them to look that way, but I just kind of find it ugly. All right. I heard the dev team was made animation for Warhammer in the past. I mean, wouldn't be surprised by that. Let's see. Right here. Denden, hi. Let's see. First name, last name. So when I see the Netflix Zaku kits, my brain instantly thinks this needs more Zimmerit. Well, yeah, you saw like some of them have Zimmerit on them, right? Pretty sure that some of them had that already. Oof, not a fan of this. All right, let's see. I'm gonna pause that for a moment. Put these parts on here. Design's making me a little nervous. Where's the cargo? On the back side, okay. Let's see. That and that. All right. So this part here, let me show you guys. We have that clear orange part that's sticking down, and on the top, this white part here on the top is basically held on just by plugging onto the top of that clear orange part. The clear orange part is held in place by these two halves, this dark part here, they're holding that clear orange part in place, and then this part here, the white part, plugs onto the top of that clear orange part, which is sticking up, and the bit of the clear orange part which is sticking down is what you're supposed to slide this part onto, and that's going to be what holds this part onto the bottom side of the torso. The problem is it's really tight, and well, now suddenly it's not tight. It was a second ago, I swear. About a second ago, yeah, it was like really tight, and so like trying to push that in, it was just pushing the orange part, which that means it's pushing the connection, which is holding the orange part, which means that it could break that connection inside there. Ultimately, obviously, that didn't happen. It decided to work at the last moment, and no issue. Okay. Although, let's see, hang on here. This little peggy should be like that, I guess. Okay. Anyway, so never mind, I guess. But there's our torso. Pretty good. I think it looks nice. Let's see if we move these parts. So yeah, like moving these parts here, moving the arm connection, we'll slide that bit there a little bit on the side of the chest, and then moving the kit, moving the like torso side to side. These like piston details here on the side will also work a little bit, not as visible, but those work in there pretty nicely. Yeah, it ends up like looking pretty nice. Okay, there was a couple of points there towards the end I was thinking like, it's feeling kind of janky, but once it's all together, it works out pretty well. These flaps on the front here that cover up what I guess is supposed to be some sort of like beam emitters or something, I guess, here on the front. I don't know exactly. But those don't fit down like as tightly and as flushly as I would like. You can see there's like a little bit of a gap here. This should be closed up, and it should close up nice and flat, but you can see there's like a gap. It's not closing up all the way, and I don't think it's anything that I'm doing wrong, because you can see like here on the back, if these white parts were like not pressed down all the way or something, for example, then there would also be a gap here in the fit between the gold and the white part, but there's not. So I'm sure the white part's where it's supposed to be. Let me see, maybe just that gray part's not out of the way. Oh, that could be it. Yeah, that might be it. Okay, yeah. All right. Yep. So again, it was me and not the kit. So yeah, I just didn't have this the gray part here, the dark gray part pushed in all the way. So you're gonna have to push that in, which just took a little bit of force to get that in, and then they will close up. Okay. All right. So welcome back, David. The torso is done, and let's see. Here we go. All right. Let's check out the head here next. So it's interesting construction so far. Yeah, it's definitely like ultimately at the end when it's all together, it looks, you know, very Gundam-like. But the construction is definitely very unique, the construction process. So I like that. All right, the head's interesting because the nice thing is it doesn't have any like really teeny tiny parts. There are going to be a couple of bits here that I'm a little concerned about. Just because, again, just looking at the manual briefly as I was just going through cutting out the parts, it looked like it might be a little confusing. Hopefully, ultimately it won't be. So it looks like we've got a couple of options here for the faceplate. Let's see here. Yeah, so the manual only shows you 2 different options of how you can make the faceplate. But in fact, on the parts, there's actually 3 different options. So, or maybe that's the 1, that's the 2, and that's the 3. Okay, anyway. But if you look here, you have this faceplate option like this, the solid faceplate. You have one like this with like a scar on the side there, kind of. And then the third option is with like a scar on both sides. So I'm gonna split the difference and I'm gonna go for the 1 scar. And that will actually fit onto this part here. So again, like I said, when I was cutting out the pieces, I was a bit confused. Just looking at the manual briefly, but yeah, now actually putting it together, it makes sense. And it's all good. Because here's why it was confusing for me. So this is where we're putting the parts onto the face, but it's like showing, it's like optional here. So I figured usually when it's like a kind of like side bubble, it's like a sub-assembly to go to the main assembly. So I'm looking at this thinking like, okay, there's 2 different options here for this sub-assembly that I'm going to go onto the face. But what it is that that's 1 option and these are the other 2. So there is a total 3. It's just kind of a matter of a little bit different kind of arrangement there, the manual, than kind of what we're used to if you just build a lot of Bandai kits. That's kind of why it threw me off there a little bit. Again, but only while I was looking at the construction very briefly, cutting out the parts. Okay. There. No, it's not that. This part also needs to go on just exactly right. It's kind of giving me a little bit of grief here for a second. Hang on. Almost feel like this would have been easier to do a different way, but there we go. like that. Okay. All right, got it. Yeah, well, it's a bit tricky at first, but ends up looking really nice. There's that. The main part of the head there looks really good. The symmetry scar looks like a Destiny Kabuki face. Yeah, definitely. And I have to imagine that as kind of a point of inspiration. But I usually, when it comes to options like that, I like to stick with whatever's on the box art. And it's kind of hard to tell because it's definitely not the 2 scar face on the box art. So let's see. And looking at the artwork here, it looks like it is just the 1 scar face. So I made the right choice. All right. But there's options there for you. As for this here, nice separation of these little tiny vent parts here on the side of the head. It's gonna go there like that, and then this clear part gonna fit into here somehow. Let's see. Okay. Getting a little bit of a trick to get this in here, I think, but there we go. Nice. Got that. Really cool. Actually works out really nicely. Seems to be a bit of a theme here with this build so far. There's been a couple of bits that kind of tripped me up a little bit, but like once I figured it out, it actually looks really nice. It's actually quite cool. I think it's just because, again, it's something that's a little different from like your standard Gundam build. So it's using parts and different things that are slightly unfamiliar. Okay. Very interesting indeed. All right. Just finishing up putting this together, then I'll show you in a bit more closer detail. It's quite cool looking here. Make sure that's in all the way. Hang on. This is the kind of part with like a really fine detail, so you can't really press it without the risk of messing up the detail a little bit. So I'm actually gonna cut this. I think the plastic got slightly disformed there a little bit at the end. Just gonna trim off a little teeny tiny bit just to make sure this fits in here nicely. Oh yeah, there we go. It's better. All right, now I put in one and accidentally knocked out the other one. So this one seems like a part that I might put a little bit of glue on later, just because it's like a really thin little part with a really nice connection on it. But if you bump it the wrong way, it's gonna like be popping out. So let's see. And the trouble is, well, just the trouble at the moment. Couldn't get that in there, but with that in place, yeah, I think I'm gonna want to glue these parts in, just so those aren't popping out on me. But here, let me show you more closer here. parts for the head, and so it's got these clear parts here at the back of the little antenna bits, and here's where I was kind of having trouble with that a little bit. So this antenna here on the top part just plugs in on like the top side of the head there. It's a very small connection point, so you don't really have much room to mess around with pushing that part in without it messing up kind of a little bit there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of glue on that. Where's my glue? Hello, glue. Where'd I put my glue? Oh, you know what I did? I loaned my glue to someone, and they didn't give it back. Rats. On build day, so Saturday was build day here. I loaned it to someone. I need to get it back. So anyway, there's that. All right, now we're still zoomed in. Wait. There you go. All right. Any kind of unique gimmick from this kit, Zach? Unique gimmick. I mean, the fact that it's got like the 4 drones is pretty cool. That like attach onto the backpack and the back skirt. That's certainly pretty unique, I would say. Other than that, maybe not particularly. This is the waist section here that I'm going to be building next. Got these are the side skirts here. Love the design. Yeah, it is really cool. It's definitely a really nice design, especially if you're like me. Like I said, a lot of these original mecha model designs like this, a lot of them can be a little overly designed for my personal taste, and so this one's nice that it's kind of a little bit more subdued kind of design to it. I think the color scheme definitely helps with that, with it being a very neutral color scheme. It's grayscale, essentially, but yeah, the design too, it's not like super overly designed with loads of detail and everything all like that. Like I was saying before, it definitely looks like it'd be like something out of Gundam Seed. A sort of alternate universe version. Well, I guess if it's from Gundam Seed, it wouldn't be from an alternate universe, but like a alternate version of the Strike, sort of, in a lot of ways. The backpack being obviously very reminiscent of the Ale Strike pack, just with like the big engines and wings, right? The legs too, you'll see once we take a look at the leg parts. The legs also have a kind of familiar design to them. The Strike Gundam, actually. So it reminds me of the flag custom from 00 and a bit of Mud Love. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, those are similar, different, definitely some familiar design aspects of this as well. I think just because like it's like a thin sort of looking gray design too, and also the face mask is kind of similar to like the flag. Yeah, so I definitely get that. These small little front skirts also kind of similar to like a 00 mobile suit as well. Just generally, not even just the front skirts, the back skirts and side skirts being on the slightly kind of smaller side compared to other series. Also, I feel like that's kind of like a Double O thing, right? Too. Maybe not with everything from Double O, but tight right there between the torso and the waist. But there we go. It's the waist. Oh, video. Okay. Got it. Hang on. Bear with me. It's just a matter of changing the battery. Yeah, for some reason, when I have the camera plugged into a power source, my capture card doesn't work. It doesn't like that. So we have to go battery powered. All right, but anyway, yep, there's the torso, cockpit hatch, waist. Build the legs so we can get this guy standing up, shall we? So here's the parts for the legs. Here's where you can notice this very familiar design element to like the strike Gundam there, especially in the lower legs. The legs in a kit like this can often be one of the most parts heavy aspects of the build, but not really much in this case. We do have 3 parts of the leg frame though here pre-built. One is like the ankle joint here, and one is just the whole leg itself. It's basically just like the lower leg section, the thigh and the knee joint there, and then one for the top section here as well. Reminds me of Jehudi from Zone of the Enders. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I guess I can see that. All right. This one here. Building the foot first, and then we'll get to the rest of the leg. Maybe because the sharp head and slim body. Yeah. Yeah, that's another reason why it just kind of comes off a little bit more, I don't know, not necessarily like a grunt, but sort of like ambiguous kind of mecha design, because there's a lot of familiar elements here, as I said, and it just sort of looks like a somewhat generic looking mecha, which not necessarily a bad thing. Get that part on there. There we go. Interesting. One thing I didn't really notice, and you maybe wouldn't notice looking at the feet, is how there's actually like a gap in the foot design, like around that vent right there. So it's not actually completely closed in here for the foot. Kind of cool design aspect of it. So the foot's actually like quite very light feeling, which kind of makes sense considering for a mobile suit, something like this that's maybe designed for aerial combat that doesn't necessarily need feet for anything but landing gear, essentially. So it kind of makes sense that the feet be designed sort of similarly to landing gear, and that they're just kind of very simple, small, like thin, nothing like super substantial. These need to go on, yeah, in any particular order. Let's see. Maybe because of the sharp. Well, let's see. Like aesthetic design wise, can fit the full Metal Panic lore or Mecha Break game. Yeah. Let's see, this one's not gonna connect into anything else quite yet, but it does need to be connected onto there. This can be connected onto here. Like that. Like that. Okay, there we go. There's our more built up leg frame here at the moment. Also got this cool aspect here of this clear orange part that fits inside a plain clear part that then fits inside this part here. Pretty cool little bit there like that. All right. Yep. Get that all closed up, and there's our kind of inner frame leg. Let's see this part here at the top. Make sure that's in there good and well. Yeah, pretty cool looking. I gotta say, quite large, heavy, and bulky, but very smooth movement too. So even though it's got that metal frame in there, it doesn't feel too tight at all. It's actually really smooth. So that's good. It is definitely getting quite hefty though. So if that could be a problem, that if the hip connection is not strong enough to be able to hold the leg up, then like for doing aerial poses and stuff, the leg could be drooping. It could be kind of difficult. That could be an issue. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's wait and see. Let's see, that should be like that here. Here. That. Hi, Zach. Did you watch the Gundam Netflix show yet? No, I've not watched it yet. I was just saying earlier that I keep meaning to, but it keeps just not working out for me whenever I think I'm going to try to watch it. So no, not yet. But I'm still planning to. Those of you guys who have watched it, without getting into spoilers for myself and other people who have not watched it yet, I mean, generally, what did you guys think of it? You like it, or just kind of meh? How many episodes is it, actually? I don't even know. I think that should fit inside there, not over the top of that. 6 episodes, 25 minutes each. Okay, so that's essentially like a 3-hour movie. There's our leg. Yeah, pretty big, hefty leg, and a small, simple foot. It's interesting. Pressed up all the way up in there, good and well. Very interesting. Yeah. All right, let's see. Just see like the leg compared to the body. It's pretty huge. A very leggy kit. And now the test, like I said, how strong is our hip connection to actually be able to hold that up? This could be a bit of a challenge. Just getting the leg on here. Oops. All right, come on. Put this away here real quick. I think they were going for a slasher horror vibe since it's close to October. Theme works. Oh, interesting. I mean, I know that like what I've heard about it is that they're like kind of playing up the horror of the Gundam to like the Xeon forces, that kind of aspect. So that's interesting, yeah. Although I have seen, like you're saying, a lot of people also saying like, in particular, it's like quite a lot of that, which seems, I don't know. I'll have to see when I see it myself, like just how much that is really emphasized. If it's like, I could imagine it could be like a little too much, kind of relying on like a kind of horror theme. It's a very leggy, super, which hey, I'm all for that. Very nice. I don't know. The goof design was my favorite thing about the show. I have seen the goof design does look pretty cool. I have to say, of the different designs, that one's probably my favorite of the show. Francis, what's up, man? He said, I just watched it for the hot mech on mech action. Yeah, well, there you go. Speaking of the goof, I guess it's some literal hot action there, right? Because it uses the key sword, right? Did Kotoki make those legs? No, but it does certainly seem Kotoki inspired for sure. Sorry for bumping that. Interesting stuff. Just going to preemptively put the parts of the leg frame together because there's not really anything about. Well, maybe we'll build the foot first. Other than that, there's not really any reason why you can't just put all the leg frame parts together straight away. That's also going to be there. This one's here. So I can say now, I think we're at a point in the build where I can say pretty confidently about the overall build quality. And that there has been a couple of pieces where I've had to like apply a little bit more force than normal, but so far it does seem good. Seems like there might be a couple of parts like there on the head too, where it might be kind of slightly loose. That you may want to just apply some glue, but it's a really it's a tiny part on the head where just the connection point is so small, it's not really that big of a deal. And it's also not a moving part, so it's like not really a great loss to have to glue it. So I would maybe recommend just gluing that one part. Everything else though, has been good. There's our leg with just the foot attached. It's pretty funny looking. Yeah, like that. It's like a very thin leg with a shoe on. Anybody ever build Transformers model kits? Was it YOLO Park? Yeah, YOLO Park made some. There was also some, what was it, Hot Toys or something? What was the other company that made those Transformers model kits as well? That actually looks pretty nice. I never actually built one, but I always kind of thought about it. Probably not Hot Toys. I feel like that's not right, but Flame Toys, that's what it was. Thank you. Thanks, David. I never built one of those. They looked pretty fun. The main reason for not ever building one of those for me was just because there was a couple of designs that looked interesting. Most of the designs weren't really for me. Not being like a big Transformers fan, wasn't really into most of this stuff. But there was a couple that looked pretty cool. I would have liked to build them if I get the chance. Maybe at some point. Maybe I will. But yeah, YOLO Park. YOLO Park, actually, speaking of YOLO Park, I've been in touch with them recently. They reached out to me to ask if I'd be interested in getting some review samples of their next couple of kits, which are going to be coming out, which I don't think that I can tell you guys what they are yet, although they didn't say not to like publicly announce anything about it, which I feel like they should have if they didn't want me to, but just in case, I will not say to you guys what they are because I guess they're still waiting for like the final licensing approval. Nope, I can't say, but you guys will should, assuming that there's no issue with the final approval for the licensing. I guess it's supposed to be announced next month. But pretty cool stuff. Yeah. And so I'll be getting some review samples from them for those next couple of kits. I don't know when. So as far as I know of like the timeline, they just said that next month is when the final approval is supposed to be happening. And then sometime after that, at some point, I don't know how early or whatever, I'll be able to get samples of those kits, but at least I don't know, I would assume sometime November, December or something like that. So that'll be cool. Starscream, no, I will tell you guys it's not Transformers. I'll tell you that it's a different franchise. So hang on guys, this is a call. I will have to take this. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, hello guys. Yes, it was muted. Yeah, I had to take a phone call. Medical stuff for my wife, so yeah. Yes, it was on mute. I said kind of not very clearly, but very briefly before muting the mic that I had to answer a phone call, but yeah. Apologies, we're back anyway. It was actually a phone call that I was gonna make after the stream was ended, but they called me first. So yeah, it's fine. Just scheduling stuff. So legs are done, and he can stand, which means we could also put the backpack on if we felt so inclined. Interesting that the backpack is just a square peg into there. And it looks like there's like kind of these little raised bars here on the side that will also just kind of help it to stay in place. The backpack's not very heavy though. The legs are definitely the heaviest part of the kit, which for a kit like this, actually maybe is good, was if you have a big backpack that's going to make it back heavy, it's going to want to topple backwards. But with nice big chunky heavy legs, that should help it to be able to stand up without falling backwards. The problem that I'm noticing here at the moment is that our torso bend, it's going to be kind of hard to show you right now, we'll kind of come back to it later, but this ab crunch here is pretty loose, as you can see there. I can just very easily move that back and forth. And so if you wanted to do a pose where it's kind of leaning forward like that, I feel like you're going to have to pose it in a way that it's not being weighed back. So that could be a little bit of an issue. But let's see, our other thing I was worried about is the legs being able to be held up. And it seems the hip joint is going to be strong enough to hold up the leg. The leg's not going to be drifting back down due to the weight. It's heavy, but like not, I guess not like that ridiculously heavy. So it seems all right. And yeah, the good point is that it can actually stand up without falling backwards with that large backpack. It's not like ridiculously huge, but yeah, these parts here for the chest, I do wish those snapped in place a little bit better. But okay, anyway, so he's standing, but now standing in the way. So I'm gonna set that over to the side for a minute while we build the arms. I like big backpacks, and I cannot lie. Well, for me, I'm more impressed by those big chunky legs. So, I'm a fan. Not that they're like big and chunky, but shaking in all the right places, let's just say that. Alright. I actually build a shoulder armor first, which again is somewhat unusual, just in terms of the construction process here. Sugoi Dekai backpack, yes. It's not exactly like, not that extreme, I don't know, but it's big enough that had the kit not been designed properly, the weight would definitely be an issue. But it does seem like the design was done thoughtfully enough that they kind of took that into account. That's not the right part for that, I think. This one goes here. And this one here. This one here. And then I guess that is right. Okay, I just had it upside down. That's why that one goes there. I like that. Oof, that definitely just cracked that part from pushing it on too tightly. So let's see, make sure I'm putting this on the correct way. Should be actually, it should be like that. Why is that not right? Hang on. Oh, like that? Wait, no, hang on. Oh, like that. Okay. Had to get it just the right position. And yeah, did crack that slightly, but it should be fine. Okay. There is later on going to be a clear piece that fits over the top of this. I'm just going to put that on right now, because why not? Oh, and with that part being cracked there, it's not going to hold this clear part in as nicely, it seems like. It's going to be popping up a little bit. Let's see if we can't do anything about that. It's just a matter of trimming something here or there, or something maybe, but no, not really. It's just kind of, let's see. If it's just like a little bit of flash inside here, that's just making it not want to fit quite perfectly snug. Yeah, not really. I don't know. It's about as good as we're going to do on that for the moment, so that's fine. That's why it's called the bastard brother of the GN flag. I don't like a big backpack and thorny designs. That's why I don't like Chinese model kits, George says. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and a lot of those kits are like that, but this one's definitely not anywhere near as extreme as some of the other examples. So, like I've been kind of saying all along with this build, it's definitely not as overly designed as some of the other ones. So, like I said, similar to like the Ale Strike, just sort of like imagine a sort of imagine like a what was that, high resolution? Imagine like a high resolution version of the Ale Strike, basically. Because the high res kit's a little bit more, kind of like a little bit more designed than what like just like a master grade would be, and also has the metal inner frame. So yeah, I guess in a couple of ways. And because of the grayscale coloring on this, I guess it's sort of like a high resolution model of a deactive Ale Strike. I don't know. I mainly buy 144 scale nowadays. If the HG or RG feels okay with that size, easy to paint too. Yeah, that's like I've said many times that our HG is actually my favorite line of kits. Easy to build, fun, not overly complicated, you know, nice designs, easy to paint. So, yep, I totally get what you're saying. Sometimes MG is the big bites I can't chew. Yeah. I mean, MG kits are great when you want like a larger project, but I don't know. More often than not, for me, you know, I just want something, you know, that's gonna be a fun project, not a chore. And MG, I feel like sometimes can just be, you know, if there's too much parts, it gets to be a bit of a chore, and that's not fun. This part not fitting on there because I'm putting it on backwards. That was the problem. All right. And this part. Make sure I pressed in there all the way. Okay. And it's only like, I don't know, looking at the construction in the manual, just like at a glance here, it seems like there's not too many parts. Not too much of the construction of the arms here left, but a couple of pieces. What am I missing? Oh, forgot to put that part on here first. Here we go. That there, and this will help to hold these parts together. One thing that I've not mentioned at all about this build so far is seam lines. And I guess the reason for that would be the fact that there hasn't really been any of note, which is nice. Just kind of looking back at it, yeah, there's really not anywhere. So I mean, that's the great thing about a kit like this too, is that how we were just talking about, like, one of the nice things about HGs is that they're pretty easy to paint. But sometimes you do have larger kits like this that are also really easy to paint just because they really don't have much in the way of seam lines. So it does seem to be like it's another good example of that. Well, I wish these parts here for the arm fit a little more tightly, but we have like these parts here, which will help to kind of hold everything in place. I feel like, yeah, it's just a matter of giving it a good squeeze. And we should be good. But yeah, so like even though like this is not the only example of this too. There's other different 1/100 scale kits that just because of the fact that they have like virtually no seam lines, even though they're a larger scale, they're like just as easy to paint. And this definitely seems like it would be one of them. I think this would be a pretty easy kit if you wanted to paint it, that you would have very little prep work that you would really need to do for it. So I do like that a lot too, about some of these larger kits, when they're the kind of kits that just because they have like almost no seam lines and then maybe, you know, very little as far as like anything that really needs to be fixed about it, you can basically just take it apart, do a little bit of sanding, and like get straight to painting on it. And that's one reason why I like the there's some master grades like that, not too many actually, but then there is also the full mechanics and the RE100 line. Not all of them, but in particular, like there's some of the RE100 kits that have like no seam lines on them too. It was great because at the beginning of that line, they did kind of seem like a point that they really kind of tried to make with those kits was the fact that they seemed to be designed in a way that they tried to make them without having any seam lines, which was nice. Kind of seemed like they got away from that a little bit in later releases, which is kind of unfortunate, but at least in some of the earlier ones, it seems like they were definitely designed with that in mind. Just kind of putting the hands together. It seems like the hands are also in a slightly softer plastic, which I think the reason for that, so it's, number one, it's swappable hands, which I like, but let's see. Yeah, they're in just like a slightly softer plastic, and I think it's just for the hands that do need to hold the weapons. If you need to like stretch the, kind of like the same reason why like some like the Megami Device and Frame Arms Girls kits and stuff too, the hands are usually like a little bit softer plastic. It's just if you need to stretch the hands to get the weapon handles into the hands, they'll stretch slightly. Trying to get this ball joint into there is a little bit tricky. You got these parts here. Or other hands, hang on. Bandai won't release more MG from Gundam Thunderbolt anymore. Yeah, I do kind of doubt it, unless we get a Master Grade Atlas, which I think is definitely possible. We might at some point. I think it's a design that kind of would make a lot of sense as an MG, and so it's very possible we might get one, but we need to do that. There. This might be good too. Any info on the next MGEX? No. That has not been announced yet, and I don't have any inside info on that either. No idea. You would think that we might know about that, though, at this point, but unfortunately not. Why is that hand not fitting in there? Wait. I didn't do something wrong there, did I? I didn't check the instructions for one, but no, that's right. Let's see. Let's see. MGEX Mark II or Ariel? No, can't say that I would be a fan. Did the camera just turn off again? Why? Really? Battery died already? That's interesting. Why would you do that? MG ground type is good, yeah. MGX core Gundam with all the armor sets. I mean, that would certainly be interesting. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know if that would be if it was just popular enough, really, for that. I mean, the core Gundam was obviously popular enough to warrant like the different packs and stuff coming out in the HG line, but HGs are obviously like a lot easier for Bandai to just pop out, you know, without a ton of investment behind them. But especially for an MGEX, it's going to be like pretty like substantial, and so in that case, I think it's probably less likely we would see something like that. It's a much larger investment for Bandai to make. Oops. Sorry, I'll fix the camera for you guys just a second. Apologies there, hang on. There you go. Mark II is always overshadowed by Zeta. Deserves better appreciation. I mean, both kits got an RG. Both kits got MG 2.0s. I mean, so they've, in terms of like what kits they've gotten, I mean, they've both gotten pretty much the same amount of love, except, I mean, the Mark II obviously doesn't have a Verka, which the Zeta now has. They both got HG Revive kits as well. I feel like they've both got a fair amount of love there. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Zeta being the namesake of the show is going to be kind of the main attraction, yeah. Wow. All right. Zeta Verka is still way better than the 2.0. I mean,
Objectively, yeah, but I can understand why some people still prefer the 2.0. I think there's some people that just like the 2.0. They like the look of it. They prefer the look the 2.0, which I can understand. But yeah, like if you really go through and like tally up all the pros and cons for each one, I would have to agree. You know, probably ultimately the Verka. It's like it's more than 10 years newer. So, I mean, like, obviously there's going to be a lot more advanced technology that Bandai can put into a kit that's that much newer. All right. Now we can see if this hand is gonna stay in here. Okay, yeah, it will. Just kind of need to pop it a little bit more. Zeta Verka you could actually do stuff with. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm right there with you. It's definitely the better kit, but it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Like if you're the kind of person that maybe you don't care too much about like what you can actually do with the kit, you just want it to look cool, and if you want it to look a certain way, I can understand some people maybe just prefer the look of the 2.0 or of the Verka. Some people are just kind of just more concerned about just the details, proportions, and things like that, which is just subjective. So some people have a preference, one or the other. All right, just finish this second shoulder armor here. And then we're in the home stretch. Then all we have left to do is just the rifles and sword, which is not really too complicated there. Weaponry, as some might say. I saw someone paint the Zeta Verka in Titan's color scheme. It looks awesome. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I feel like I've seen like almost every mobile suit ever painted in like a Titan's color scheme, but that's one that I'm not sure if I've actually ever seen. So that would be a first for me seeing that one. But yeah, I feel like I've seen every design painted in a Titan's color scheme at this point, just because I think it's just a popular color scheme design that a lot of people like, just because of the dark, brooding sort of nature of the color scheme. Yeah, people do love it. That's true. Can't think of any kit that I've built with Titan's colors, like a custom build. Not sure if I ever have done one. Let me think. Yeah, I don't think so, honestly. Maybe because Gundam usually comes in white, so yeah, I mean, yeah. Like I said, if you want something that's a bit less like hero, more kind of antagonist looking, definitely works. All right, so there's our main build and backpack and everything all done here. I can show this to you guys. Kind of adjusting the pose here a little bit. Like that, pretty cool.
back this up a little bit. I do like, I like the kind of gray and white color scheme on this, and then the fact that we have just the small little color accents of the orange here for the eyes and the chest, and then the gold bits, just to add a little bit of color to the design. Does look really cool. And then we can add the these more drones to the back skirt here. Got 4 in total. So those are pretty cool there. And the frame does feel like it has a couple of loose spots in it, like here, like I mentioned. Oh, you know what? Actually, I wonder. That's what we can use that little tab for. So in the back of the torso here, there was that little tab, and I didn't really know what that's for. But I'm wondering if we can use that for us to. Maybe not. I don't know. Just to make the torso not go backwards. Let's see. Is there any mention of that anywhere here? Not really. Not as far as I can see. Which is odd. Yeah, and like the back of the torso, there's this little tab that will fold out. It seems like it's maybe just to help the torso to stay forward, but it actually doesn't seem to have any consequence whatsoever. So not exactly sure what that's for. Yeah, it is going to be very back heavy, but because the legs are so heavy, it can stand up perfectly fine. It actually has no issues at all with that. Even with the backpack and then adding the drones onto the back skirt as well. It's actually still quite nicely balanced. I can just set it down and it just stands up. I don't have to mess with it, so very nice. All right, let's get these weapons put together and we'll call it a day. Like I said, the weapon system here, it doesn't say ×2 for the rifle, but we have, it seems like it should be. I think it's just the case that the way that the runners were designed and lined and laid out, we had all the parts to make 2 rifles, but I guess it wasn't like intended to necessarily have 2, but like all the parts are there, so they just kind of leave it up to you as the builder to like figure it out that, oh, okay, it's not really supposed to have 2, but all the parts are there to just make 2, I guess. So we can just go ahead and go for it. Thanks for clarifying about the legs. I wonder why I didn't know about it. That explains it. Oh, yeah. All right. Where are you? And the rifle also features, let's see, because you have the option of having like just like a standard shorter barrel. You can actually add an attachment piece on to make a longer barrel, I guess. Or yeah. Right, so there's a carbine mode and a sniper rifle mode, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, just looking at the construction. Anyway, instructions are not super clear.
Up there. That. All right. Anyway, as we're getting close to being done here, so I'm going to wrap up soon. As soon as we're done, if you guys have any other questions about this build, about this kit, let me know anything else you would like to see in the review. I'm going to assume that you guys are probably going to want some kind of size comparison, perhaps. Maybe, I don't know, anything else? I don't really like doing size comparisons that much, as you guys may have noticed in the reviews. Yeah, I'll usually let you guys know like how big the kit is, but not necessarily like a comparison. Here it is next to this kit, here it is next to this kit, here it is next to that kit. Just because, I don't know. I'll tell you the size of it, and then, yeah, that kind of lets you know how big it is. Assuming you guys are going to want to know, going to want to see a size comparison. Now we do have, let's see, two barrels. So you could make two. You could make two carbine modes of the rifle, and not have like a longer sniper rifle one. But where's the fun in that? Y'all know this Bailu ain't no overlay one. Okay. Oh shoot! I should put those white parts on there first, I guess, right? Let's see. If we can. Yeah, I'm gonna need those on there first. Maybe just sizing it against a standard HG and MG. Yeah, I mean, maybe not even an HG. Probably just an MG should be enough, considering that's what's going to be most comparable to in size. But you do have two. There's like a different gun barrel tip here for just the carbine mode. You do have two of those, so you could make just two regular. I think we have all the parts here to make two sniper rifles as well. So you have all the parts to make two of whichever version you wanted to make. That's pretty cool. I'm just going to opt for one each, but that seems to be, that would make the most sense, but if you want to double up, you can do that. It's taller than a standard MG. Yes, definitely. It's definitely going to be taller than a standard MG. I think it even said on the box, on like the front of the box, I think it even says that it's like 27 centimeters tall, something like that. Yeah, the standard MG Gundam would be about about 18. Anything larger than that is getting to be pretty large. So there's some like the Unicorn Gundam, for example, like in Unicorn mode. I think when it's transformed in Unicorn mode, it gets to be up to like 23 meters. So like in Master Grade would be like 23 centimeters. So this being at 27 centimeters means, yeah, it's going to be pretty tall. This is all the parts for making the sniper scope camera for this. It's kind of a larger extension here to the camera part there on the top. Faceplate showcase. Yeah, I'll definitely show you guys the different options there for that. Naturally. Where and how do you store your kits after building them? You build a lot. Yes, I do. Most of them are stored at home. And what I do most of the time is break them down. I've shown that in past videos before, or I did a video before about like how I break down model kit boxes. And for most kits, especially for Gundam kits, I usually just throw away the boxes entirely, and I just bag them up. So I'll put like the instructions and the kit just into a bag, and then I'll have let's see. So interesting. Wait, what? Yeah, okay, that's lined up like that. But that's all. Oh, that's right, yeah. And then I'll have like other kits, like say for like a Megami device kit or something like that. Those kits, a lot of them, once they're built, they take up like such a small part. Oh, okay, interesting. This is a like connection piece that connects to the side of the arm and then also to the side of the rifle as like a stabilization piece. And we have one for the left and the right side. So yeah, if you didn't want to use this, with like a dual wielding this, you can use this, I guess, the left and the right side. But I'm just going to use this here on the one side there like that. Only for this sniper rifle. So there's the longer rifle. This part here keeps sliding. That needs to stay there and not slide. But yeah, like Megami device kits usually once they're built, they take up such a small amount of the actual box space when they're built because they're quite small. But they take a lot of runners, so the boxes need to be kind of big, but the actual kits are quite small. So I'll usually use those boxes, and I'll have like 3 or 4 or 5 bagged up Gundam models inside that box as well. So it'd be like one box, but it's got like 7 kits inside, kind of depending. And we've got some clear sword blade parts here as well. Have this kit, it's really nice and solid kit. Fabian said, yep, that's my experience so far, quite nice. And yeah, I was just saying a moment ago, there's a couple of bits of the frame that don't seem super solid, but I don't know how much it doesn't really matter too much if it doesn't really affect the like posability. It's still able to do the poses that it needs to do. And it seems like that's probably going to be the case, but we'll see for sure once we actually get to posing the kit, if the stability is really going to be much of an issue or not. This is our other sniper rifle barrel there. Putting that part together real quick, and then we've got, let's see, over here, this part goes which way? Here. Oh yeah, we have this other part here too. This one. Hey Zach, I don't know if you build any Armored Core model kit yet, but if you did, then which one would you recommend? So actually, just the previous live build to this one, well, I was building an Armored Core model kit. It was an older one though. So I mean, the newer ones I'm sure are probably going to be nicer, but that one actually I was surprised at how nice it was, considering that it was the one that I built the other day. It was from 2007, but it was quite nice. I didn't finish during the stream, but I actually did finish later on putting that one together, and yeah, it was really nice. Let's see, does this have a certain way this needs to go in here? Not really. Here and here. So we have a couple of swords there, and actually more. A couple of bits here. So also got these sword blades, which actually come out of the back of the arm. The back side of the arm, I guess, has like a sword emitter there, sort of. So you got those as well. This physical sword, which has a plated silver part there for the blade. Like, I think it's just like a gray part that's just sprayed with this silver paint on it, so that's nice. Clear sword blades, and then the stand. So we do have a stand for this included as well, and a couple of sub arms. You actually have 4 of these arms for the drones, 2 long and 2 short ones like that can be plugged in here at different spots there on the base for plugging the drones onto there, so it should be pretty cool. Yeah, so that's it for the build. And let me just also mention that actually all the clear parts you have in plain clear too. So I used all the clear orange parts there, obviously, but any of the clear parts for the kit's all in this one runner, so including like the sword blades, the parts for like the cameras and everything like that. So if you wanted those clear parts to be in whatever other clear color, you can use these and make those. So. Very cool. And let's see. On top of all of that, you do also have a bunch of water slide decals too, if you wanted to use those, which I will. Not right now, but if and when I decide to paint the kit, which I would like to. So I mean, it won't be today or this week or probably anytime soon, but if and when I get the chance to paint the kit, I will absolutely use those decals. That's the weapons, pretty cool. So yeah, you could make 2 of just this regular carbine style rifle, or you can make 2 of the longer, like sniper rifle kind of cannon rifles there. It's up to you. You got all the parts for that, and a bunch of swords, a bunch of different hand option parts. I didn't really talk about that, putting the hands together, but yeah, you have different hand option parts for like obviously weapon holding hands, sword holding hands, trigger finger holding hands for the rifle, open expressive hands like that, and then also like this sort of 2-finger closed hand here for doing your kind of like kung fu looking poses. So that's it. Pretty cool kit, gotta say. That's gonna do it for this live stream today, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. See, George said the long rifle looks cool, but the carbine rifle seems easier to pose. Yeah, we'll see in the review. But for the long rifle, that stabilization piece that connects to the rifle and then onto the forearm will probably be really useful. Just for having a large weapon like that, a piece that helps to connect it to the arm means that you're not relying on the wrist joint to have to hold it up. So I think it should be pretty good. Here you go. Ultimately, makes for a pretty cool looking kit, I gotta say here. And yeah, especially there on the back. I mean, it's a lot going on in the backpack, but the fact that it's like the drones connected onto there, and especially if you're posing this with those drones deployed, then the backpack's going to be relatively simple. It's basically just the wings up here and like these kind of boosters up there at the top. So really, really nice. I like it. These are the holsters here on the side for the sword handles when not in use. Stick those on there. I will, and I'm going to go find my glue to glue those parts up on the head just to make sure they're not coming off.
on me when I don't want them to be, but really nice. I like it. Yes, it's highly detailed, but not like overly detailed. So I like it. Good. I'm happy with this one. Very nice. Glad I got the chance to build it up. I think we are, unfortunately, if you did want to get it, we're sold out of it here on USA Gundam Store. This actually came out like last year, so it's been out for a little while, if I remember correctly. I'm just now getting around to getting one and building it, actually, but I think we have been sold out for a little while here at USA Gundam Store. But if you can still find it somewhere, I would recommend it. If you can, if you're just wanting to check out some other similar kits, of course, you can check the website there. Got other ones that I would recommend. Still would highly recommend you guys to check out that Marshall Emperor kit that I built too. That one was really nice. Definitely. All right. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I don't know what the next... Actually, I do know. The next live stream build will probably either be another older Armored Core kit. I want to get that ready for a live build. Either that or the Moderoid Titanomachia Edelstein kit. It's the new Titanomachia mecha model kit there from the Moderoid line. I want to live build, I think probably both of those. That'll be one of those will be the next live build. I'll let you know which one that'll be and when. For now, thanks for hanging out today. See you guys next time. Later.